Shalom. I'm Ezra Solomon. You speak weak words that keep you weak. I am confident while you avoid confrontation. I am successful while you choose comfort. Modern affirmations are lies without discipline behind them. Today I'm teaching you the ancient Hebrew practice of speaking truths that forge character and draw real success. Let me destroy a comfortable lie that's keeping you soft. You think speaking positive affirmations creates success. You stand in front of your mirror and declare, I am confident, I am successful, I am strong. Meanwhile, you avoid the hard conversation. You refuse the uncomfortable work. You choose ease at every decision point. Your subconscious knows you're lying. That's the problem nobody talks about. When you speak words that contradict your actions, you don't create confidence, you create internal conflict. You're telling yourself you're disciplined while hitting snooze. You're declaring you're focused while scrolling for hours. You're affirming you're strong while taking the easy path. This is cognitive dissonance, and it weakens your character. Modern self-help sold you on manifestation and speaking things into existence, but they left out the critical component, the discipline and character development that makes those words actually true. Words without aligned action don't transform you. They hollow you out. Here's what happens psychologically. Your mind tracks the gap between what you say and what you do. Every time you affirm strength while choosing weakness, that gap widens. Your self-trust erodes. Your internal confidence crumbles. Not because affirmations don't work, but because you're using them as a substitute for the hard work of character building. I see this constantly. People come to me frustrated. Ezra, I've been doing affirmations for months. Why am I not changing? Because you're trying to think your way to strength instead of building your way to strength. You're speaking about a destination while refusing the difficult journey. Jewish wisdom understood something different about the power of speech, not manifestation, transformation through truthful self-confrontation. In our tradition, we have a concept called emet. It means truth. And the teaching is clear. Truth is the foundation of everything that lasts. You want words that draw success into your life? Stop speaking comfortable lies. Start speaking uncomfortable truths that force you to align your character with your claims. That's what I'm teaching you today. Not positive thinking, truthful thinking that leads to disciplined action and real transformation. The ancient practice I'm about to share has built strong minds and strong character for 3,000 years. It requires honesty. It requires daily discipline. It won't feel good at first, but it will make you strong. Let me show you how. In the beginning, God spoke and created. Let there be light, and there was light. This isn't just a creation story. It's a teaching about the nature of powerful speech. God's words had absolute power because they were backed by absolute truth and absolute capability. There was no gap between declaration and reality. Here's the principle for us. Our words gain power when they're backed by disciplined action and honest self-assessment. Not before, not through wishful thinking, through alignment between what we speak and how we actually live. Let me introduce you to the Musar tradition. This is the Jewish practice of ethical self-examination and character refinement. For centuries, Jewish scholars and practitioners didn't focus on positive affirmations. They focused on truthful assessment leading to character transformation. They understood that real change comes from confronting what is true, then building from that foundation. The Talmud teaches, the seal of the Holy One is truth. Think about what that means. When you speak truth about yourself, even uncomfortable truth, especially uncomfortable truth, you align with the fundamental structure of reality. This alignment creates the foundation for actual change, not fantasy change. Compare this to the modern approach. Today's self-help says, fake it till you make it, or speak what you want into existence. The ancient Jewish approach says something completely different. Face what is true, then build from there. Don't pretend you're disciplined. Acknowledge where you lack discipline, then do the hard work of developing it. From my background in psychology, I can tell you the research supports this ancient wisdom. Studies on self-concordance show that people who set goals aligned with their true current state and their authentic values achieve significantly more than those living in fantasy. Why? Because they're building on reality, not on pretend. Here's what you need to understand. There are specific Hebrew truths, not affirmations, truths, that build character when you speak them with discipline. These aren't comfortable words. They don't make you feel immediately good. They make you confront reality. They make you acknowledge your weaknesses. They make you commit to the hard path of character building. But here's what they do that affirmations never will. They create alignment between your words, your self-perception, and your actions. And that alignment is where real power lives. That's where transformation happens. That's where success gets drawn into your life, not through magical thinking, but through disciplined character development that makes you worthy of success. Let me show you the framework. The first Hebrew truth you must speak is about your Yetzer Hara. This is the inclination toward comfort, ease, immediate gratification. In Jewish understanding, this isn't about being bad or sinful. This is about being human. Every person has this inclination. The question is whether you acknowledge it and master it, or deny it and let it master you. Here's the first truth you need to speak daily. I have an inclination toward weakness that I must master today. Not I am strong, not I am disciplined. Those might be lies. Instead, you acknowledge the real internal battle you face every single day. Why does this work? Because you stop lying to yourself about your struggles. Modern weakness comes from people denying their internal battles, pretending they're already strong, acting like discipline comes naturally. It doesn't. Ancient strength comes from acknowledging the enemy within, so you can fight it consciously, deliberately, with full awareness. Let me tell you about Marcus, 34 years old, entrepreneur, came to me completely frustrated. He'd been speaking affirmations every morning for 6 months. I am disciplined. I am focused. I am building my empire. Meanwhile, he hit snooze every day. He avoided difficult client calls. He chose easy tasks over important ones. He scrolled social media for hours. His words felt hollow because they were hollow. His internal confidence was eroding because his subconscious knew the truth. There was a massive gap between what he claimed and how he lived. He asked me, Ezra, why doesn't this work? I'm doing everything the books say. Here's what I taught him. Stop speaking comfortable lies. Start speaking uncomfortable truths. Every morning, before you make any disciplined choices, speak this. I have a part of me that seeks comfort over growth, and today I will master it. Marcus resisted at first. He thought this sounded negative. Aren't I supposed to be positive? No, you're supposed to be truthful. Positivity without truth is delusion. Truth without action is useless. But truth followed by disciplined action, that's transformation. When Marcus started acknowledging his Yetzer Hara each morning, something shifted. The acknowledgement created clarity, not shame. He could now consciously choose discipline because he named his real struggle. He stopped being surprised when he felt the pull toward comfort. He expected it, he named it, he mastered it. Here's the psychological principle. You cannot master what you refuse to acknowledge. Speak the truth about your internal battle. That's where strength begins. The second Hebrew truth is about Gevurah. This means strength, discipline, the power of restraint and boundaries. But understand what this really is. Gevura is your capacity for self-mastery that you build daily through resistance. It's not something you have. It's something you develop through consistent, difficult choices. Here's the second truth you must speak. I am building strength through today's difficult choices, not I am strong. That might be a lie. I am building strength. This language acknowledges the process, the work, the reality of where you actually are. Let me be clear about why this distinction matters psychologically. When you say, I am building strength, three things happen. First, it's honest. You're acknowledging you're in the building phase, not pretending you've arrived. Second, it's forward focused. You're emphasizing growth over a static state. Third, it creates accountability. You're claiming the builder identity, which means you must build. Pirkei Avot teaches, who is strong? One who conquers their inclination. Not the person who lifts the most weight, not the person with the biggest muscles, the person who can resist their own pull toward weakness. That's true strength. That's Gevurah. Here's the daily practice. Before each disciplined decision, before the workout, before the difficult call, before the uncomfortable conversation, speak this truth out loud. This discomfort is building my Gevurah. You're naming what's happening. You're framing the resistance as character construction, not just a task to complete. Let me tell you about Sarah, 28 years old, struggling with consistency in every area. She'd start strong, then fade. She came to me wanting motivation. I told her she didn't need motivation. She needed different language. I taught her to change her words from I should work out to this workout builds my Gevurah, from I need to stop procrastinating to choosing this hard task right now strengthens my discipline, from I have to do this to I'm building character through this choice. The shift was immediate. Her words stopped being about obligation and started being about construction. She wasn't just completing tasks anymore. She was building herself. Each difficult choice became a brick in the structure of her character. Over several weeks, Sarah stopped negotiating with herself. When she felt resistance, she spoke the truth. This resistance is the weight I'm lifting to build my Gevurah. The discomfort became proof she was building, not a reason to quit. That's the power of speaking truth about the process. It transforms difficulty from obstacle into opportunity. The third Hebrew truth is Cheshbon Hanefesh. This means accounting of the soul, an honest daily inventory of your character choices. And here's what most people miss. This isn't something you think about. It's something you speak out loud with precision. The third truth, to speak every evening. Today I chose specific discipline and I avoided specific weakness. You're not journaling in your head. You're verbally declaring the truth of your day. This matters more than you think. Why does speaking matter? Neuroscience research shows that verbal articulation activates different brain regions than internal thought. When you speak something out loud, you create stronger neural encoding. You strengthen both memory and commitment. Your brain takes spoken words more seriously than thoughts that float through your mind. In Jewish tradition, there's a practice of end-of-day accounting. You speak honestly about where you succeeded in building character and where you failed. Not for shame, for clarity. Not to beat yourself up, to see yourself accurately so you can build more effectively tomorrow. Here's the framework. 3 questions you speak out loud each evening. First, where did I choose discipline over comfort today? Be specific, not I was good today. That's vague and useless. I went to the gym when I wanted to stay in bed. I made the difficult phone call I was avoiding. Second, where did I give in to my Yetzer Hara? Again, specific. I scrolled for 40 minutes when I said I'd work. I avoided the conversation I needed to have with my partner. Third, What specific choice will I make differently tomorrow? This isn't about feeling bad. It's about planning your next battle. Tomorrow, when I feel the pull to scroll, I will put my phone in another room and work for one focused hour. Let me continue Sarah's story. After she learned to speak about building Gevura during the day, I taught her Cheshbon Hanafesh for the evening. She started doing this honest accounting out loud. Today I went to the gym, but I avoided the difficult client email. I chose discipline in my body but comfort in my business. This precision prevented both false pride and unnecessary shame. She saw the truth, partial progress, not failure, not complete success, reality. This clarity let her plan specifically for the next day. Tomorrow I will send that email before I check any other messages. No vague promises. Specific commitment based on honest assessment. That's the power of Cheshbon Hanefesh. You speak the truth of what was, so you can build what will be. Let me explain why these Hebrew truths create transformation, while modern affirmations keep you stuck. This isn't mystical, it's about how your mind actually works. Your brain has a mechanism called cognitive consistency. It constantly monitors the gap between your self-concept and your behavior. When you say, I am disciplined, but act undisciplined, your brain registers this discrepancy. It creates psychological discomfort. You have three options: change your behavior to match your words, change your words to match your behavior, or disconnect from reality entirely. Most people choose option 3 without realizing it. They keep speaking the affirmation while acting opposite, and they numb themselves to the internal conflict. This creates what psychologists call learned helplessness. You stop believing you can actually change because you've trained yourself to ignore the gap. Hebrew truths work differently. When you speak, I have an inclination toward weakness that I must master, there's no gap. It's true. When you speak, I am building strength through difficult choices. While making a difficult choice, there's no gap. It's accurate. Your brain registers alignment, not conflict. This alignment does something powerful. It builds what's called self-efficacy, your belief in your capacity to execute actions required to manage situations. Research by Albert Bandura shows self-efficacy is one of the strongest predictors of success in any domain. And self-efficacy grows through accurate self-assessment and documented progress, not through pretending you've already arrived. Here's what happens over time. When you speak Hebrew truths consistently, you build a track record of alignment between words and actions. Your brain starts trusting you again. When you say you'll do something, you believe yourself because you have evidence. This internal trust becomes the foundation for genuine confidence. Compare this to affirmations. You say, I am wealthy, while your bank account is empty. Your brain knows this is false. You say, I am confident, while avoiding every uncomfortable situation. Your subconscious registers the lie. Over months of this, you train yourself not to believe your own words. You erode self-trust instead of building it. From the Torah's perspective, this makes perfect sense. Truth is the seal of God. When you align with truth, even uncomfortable truth, you align with the fundamental structure of reality. You're working with how things actually are, not how you wish they were. That's why Jewish wisdom focuses on honest self-confrontation before aspirational declarations. Build the foundation of truth first. Build the character through discipline second. Then, and only then, will your words carry real power, because they'll be backed by the person you've actually become through hard work. Let me give you the exact framework for implementing these Hebrew truths daily. This isn't theory. This is the practical discipline that transforms character. Morning practice. Within 10 minutes of waking, before you check your phone, speak these truths out loud. Today I will face my Yetzer Hara, my pull toward comfort and ease. I acknowledge this enemy within so I can master it. Today I build my Gavura through difficult choices. Each moment of discomfort is construction, not suffering. This takes 90 seconds, but it sets your mental frame for the entire day. You're not lying to yourself about being strong already. You're acknowledging the battle and committing to fight it consciously. Decision point practice throughout your day. Before each significant choice, speak the truth about what's happening. When you feel resistance to the gym, this discomfort builds my gevura. When you want to avoid a difficult conversation, choosing courage right now strengthens my character. When you're tempted to take the easy path, my Yetzer Hara wants comfort, but I choose growth. This verbal acknowledgement does something critical. It interrupts your automatic pattern of seeking comfort. It makes the choice conscious instead of unconscious, and in that moment of consciousness you can choose discipline. Evening practice, your Cheshbon Hanefesh. Spend 5 minutes speaking your honest accounting. Where did you choose discipline? Where did you choose comfort? What specific choice will you make differently tomorrow? Write nothing down yet. Speak it out loud to yourself. This verbal declaration creates stronger encoding than writing or thinking. Your brain processes spoken truth differently than internal thoughts. Let me tell you what happened when Marcus and Sarah both implemented this full framework. Marcus, the entrepreneur who was speaking empty affirmations, started his morning by acknowledging his Yetzer Hara. Throughout his day, he named each difficult choice as Gevura building. Each evening, he did his honest accounting. Within 30 days, his business transformed, not because circumstances changed, because he changed. He stopped avoiding difficult client conversations. He stopped choosing easy tasks. He built real discipline because he stopped lying to himself about already having it. Sarah went from inconsistent to unstoppable. She built genuine confidence because she earned it through aligned words and actions. Her Cheshbon Hanefesh each evening showed her documented progress. She could see herself building character day by day. This framework works because it's built on truth, not fantasy, on discipline, not comfort, on character development, not wishful thinking. Here's what you need to do starting tomorrow morning, not next week, not when you feel ready, tomorrow. Character doesn't build itself. Strength doesn't develop through thinking about it. You build through consistent, disciplined action, backed by truthful speech. First action, set an alarm for 10 minutes after you typically wake up. Label it Yetzer Hara and Gevura. When it goes off, speak your morning truths out loud before touching your phone. Today I acknowledge my inclination toward weakness, and I choose to master it. Today I build my Gevura through difficult choices. Second action, choose 3 moments today where you know you'll face resistance, the workout, the difficult email, the uncomfortable conversation. Before each one, speak the truth. This discomfort builds my strength. Then do it. The speaking without the doing is worthless. The doing without the speaking is less powerful. Both together create transformation. Third action, set an evening alarm for your Cheshbon Hanefesh. 9 p.m. works for most people. When it goes off, spend 5 minutes speaking your honest accounting, where you chose discipline, where you chose comfort, what you'll do differently tomorrow. Specific, not vague, truthful, not comfortable. I know what you're thinking. Ezra, this sounds too simple. Can just changing my words really make this much difference? Let me be direct with you. It's not changing your words. It's aligning your words with truth, then aligning your actions with your words. That alignment is what builds character. That alignment is what creates real confidence. That alignment is what draws success into your life. This will feel uncomfortable at first. You're not used to speaking uncomfortable truths about yourself. You're trained to speak comfortable lies. But here's what I need you to understand. That discomfort is proof the practice is working. You're confronting reality instead of hiding from it. That confrontation is where growth begins. I want you to commit to 30 days of this practice, not 3 days, not a week when you feel motivated. 30 consistent days speaking Hebrew truths and aligning your actions with your words. Comment below and tell me, what's the biggest comfortable lie you've been telling yourself? What Hebrew truth are you going to speak instead starting tomorrow? Subscribe to this channel because next week I'm teaching you the ancient Jewish practice of Tikkun Midot, the systematic refinement of specific character traits through daily discipline. You're going to need this. Shalom.